Well, hello, and now it's time for tier number one, and it wouldn't be tier number one, of course, if we didn't give the Punju welcome into tonight's festivities in round number two, as we head off to Hungary, to Budapest, around the Hungaroring for round number two of this Season 13 Tier 1 Championship. My name's Andy Owen, and I hope you're having a most magnificent Sunday evening. I know I am, and quite frankly, I'm looking forward very much to see what the quickest guys in Moose Racing League can deliver for us around the no-wall Monaco track that is the Hungaroring. As most of you know, Punju can't be with us in Tier 1 this evening. He's been commentating on Tier 2. He may well be racing in Tier 1. I don't know. He may well be here. We'll find out shortly. But he is sorely missed here in Tier 1. Has done Tier 1 commentary for us for a very long period of time. And I get the kudos, I guess, of stepping up into some incredibly big shoes to fill as our quick boys head off to Budapest. We do have what looks like a full lobby. So that is the first piece of good news for this evening. We head off to a track that is iconic since 1986, I guess, when Bernie Eccleston decided he wanted to extend beyond the Iron Curtain. We've been racing here since 1986, so coming up for 40 years now. And the man Hamilton, of course, with 8 wins around Hungary and 9 pole positions over his time, the latest one in 2023, of course, the most iconic driver. But enough about the IRL drivers. Let's think about who we've got in terms of Moose Racing League. The quickest guys out on track at the moment. Let's just take a look at the constructors' standings first to see what kind of happened last week. And what we'll see in there is that there wasn't a great deal of teams that scored points. Ferrari and the Racing Bulls zeroing out. No points scored for those guys last week. But big points, of course, for Alpine, McLaren, Red Bull, Haas, Aston Martin tied up with Sauber 5th and 6th. 6th place it was Mercedes with 7th place it was Mercedes with 6 points. Williams picking up 4 points. Driver of the day actually was for a Ferrari, it would appear on there. But yeah, Alpine picking up the win last week, which of course means that when we take a look at the drivers' standings, it was indeed Estembar who picked up the win last week. There was only 1 second that covered the top 4 drivers last week. Estembar, Cloud, Lyric, and Eruption. 1 second covered those 4 drivers. So what an outstanding way to start the season with a close race at Zandvoort. We will, of course, head off into a short qualifying session, as we do every race here at MRL. But before we do, let's just take a look at this track map. So we talk about it being the Monaco with no walls. It's 4.3 kilometers, 2.7 miles, 14 turns. But there are very few opportunities to pass on this tight, twisty circuit. The main places being between turns 14 and 1 down that home straight. And then you'll see between turns 11 and 12. There is a kind of straightaway there that leads down the hill. Not a great deal of elevation, but where there are elevation changes comes danger. The elevation changes from turns 2, 3, down towards, through a dip, up the hill again, into turn 4, a tight left-hander, before we get to a kind of semi-right-hand hairpin. Turn 4 can be the car killer. Too much curb on the outside, on the exit there at turn 4, can propel your Formula 1 vehicle into the wall on the left-hand side. Not only that, of course, during qualification, which we're in now, it can, of course, lead to invalidations. And, of course, we don't want any invalidations. As it currently stands, qualification has started, by the way, but worry not, you're not missing any of the action. We've only got one car that is about to go out on track now on an outlap. I believe it's an Alpine, is it? Yeah, it's an Alpine of Jose. Jose's gone out onto track right now, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to go and see what he's up to. So let's get over to the screen. There we go. Let's try and move one's face, because one's face appears to have glitched over ever so slightly. And because, of course, my touch is terrible. There we go. That'll kind of do us for now, I think. Well, let's just try and squeeze it down a little bit. There we go. There we go. Man's got a bad touch. Man's got a bad touch. Okay, so we do have a host of cars coming out of the pit lane right now. But the first car round will be the Alpine of Jose. Full rain race. Good Lord, Lyrics. Now, normally we do rely on a trackside weatherman to come in and give us any news. And it appears that the first news we've had is from Lyrics. Lyrics, of course, who finished in that top 3 last week and is on in a Red Bull. Let's just jump on board then with Jose Gamer as we head down towards turn number 1 for the very first time this evening on a hot lap. Hard on the brakes, it is a tight right-hand side. Open wing, of course, on the way down towards turn number 2. Super stuff from him there, although at turn 1. Allowed the front end to catch some curb and help him turn in. Gets through turn 2, over the curb. No, doesn't go over the curb at turn 3. So that'll compromise his line ever so slightly. And here's the car killer. Plenty of curb, and then over to that right-hand side before swinging it in to turn number 5. Over to the chicane now, where you can gain a lot of time if you get it spot on. Seems to navigate that okay, does Jose. And now we're into part of the track where you can utilise lots of curb throughout this part of the track, throughout Sector 2. Here's turn 11, all the way down the hill now towards turn number 12, one of the overtaking opportunities in the track. Plenty of curb on the inside? Yeah, plenty of curb on the inside. And then it's over to the right-hand side before we swing around this tight hairpin, turn number 13. And then it's on the throttle, hard, towards turn 14, taking a wide stance then to cut in close to the wall. Not too close, though. I'm looking for an early 13s from these guys. That's a 14.3 first on the door. A couple of Ferraris on an outlap. We've got a Kick Sauber on an outlap. There's an Aston Martin on a lap there, is it? No, on all on outlaps. It would appear that perhaps... Whoa! On the inside there, Yuki. That is a lack of due care and attention from you, sir. On the inside of turn number 4. And that has just... I don't know what's happened there. He's been propelled. I don't actually know what's just happened. But he's over there anyway. As we were talking, is Fletcher. I was going to say Fletcher in provisional pole. He set a 14.1, but 14 thousandths quicker. It's Tachubi. But take a look at the Alpine, the championship leader, with a 13 flat. And Yuki picks up a 5-second penalty. A 5-place grid penalty as well. What has happened with Yuki? Yuki seems to be having some issues with connection, ladies and gentlemen. May well be in a spot of trouble there. He's going to have to keep himself... Let's just keep an eye on Yuki 1 second. Because he does appear to be having some trouble here. We have to say that lap by Estenbar, by the way, is by far the best lap that I've seen on this track. I've commentated a race already on this track tonight, but that by far, as a banker, is obscene. Yo, Snoop, how you doing? Thanks so much for the kind comments, my friend. Much appreciated. Right, let's find somebody who's on a lap then. Gwenfro into the chicane. Turn 6 and 7. Navigated it pretty well. Well done. Gwenfro has been talking about how he doesn't feel the quickest around here. Of course, with a couple of less tiers, it's meant that we've mixed it up. Gwenfro usually tier 2, but up into tier 3. Down the hill into turn number 12. Plenty of curb on the inside, maybe. A little bit of curb on the inside. Lots on the exit. And then it's down to 13 with the hard left. Keeps it nice and tight through there. Utilising all the track on the exit, of course, as our quickest drivers do. Seems to a little bit wide into 14. But that might give him a bit more straight line speed down. Of course, I didn't look at the time, but he's just been kind of trying to set himself up for a lap. So the 132 flat is one heck of a banker from Gwenfro. Jim, good evening. If he's got a wet setup and he's thrown down a... I mean, come on, guys. Come on. What is happening out here? We've got Lyric with a 13 flat 6.5 and a 13 flat 8.6 by Estenbar. I was already convinced that the 13 flat 8.6 was going to secure pole position. Lyric has put my words in the bin, and he's taken me to task because he said 13 flat 6.5. Eruption, another quick Donny, of course, being in tier 1, is a 13.2, and then we've got a 3/10 gap back to Supply Raptor in P4 in that Haas. Cloud actually just splits Eruption and Supply Raptor. Cloud is another one of these quick Donnies. I've been watching a lot of these guys over the course of the last couple of years. I've done a lot of commentary. I've never raced with them, of course, because they're far too quick. But I've done a lot of commentary on a lot of these guys over various leagues. The best league, of course, being the MRL league. And yeah, there's a lot of competition. You see, we've got, what, 8 guys into the 13 so far. Yuki will dip down, of course, because of that 5th-place grid penalty. But what a start we've had here. Unbelievable scenes as Red Bull and Alpine vying it out for pole position early doors. Eruption P3, Cloud P4, Supply Raptor in P5, Sketchy Bull. Sketchy Bull, a gentleman who's been here for a very long time, Sketchy Bull. We're going to go Freddie Rozelle in the Williams, who's in P7. Yuki P8, as we talked about. Tachubi, no mean feat for him either, in P9 with a 14.1. Fletcher, 14.1 as well. 14,000 slower than Tachubi. Mateo in P11. Jose Gamer, P12. Thermo, P13. Thermo will carry a time penalty at the end of today's race, by the way, from some problems that he had last week. Gwenfro in P14 after his banker of the 130 odd. He's managed to get himself back in. JF1 in P15. He's getting himself back in. Gets a little bit too involved with the sausage curbs going through the chicane there. You'll see tier 1A, 1B and 1C tonight. I think that's probably the case, Jim, as well. Maybe we should have different classifications. City of R, currently sat P16, the slowest guy on the track at the moment, but trying to get a lot of heat into those soft compound tyres. I'm pretty sure City of R will be... Is he going to go again? I don't know whether he's going to make his mind up. Yeah, here he goes, look. Taking a wide stance round turn 14 so we can get the pedal down to the metal and on to his next hot lap then. Let's stay on with City of R. We've known City of R for quite a long time as well, so good to see him, McLaren. Yeah, tackles that pretty well. Doesn't take any curb on the entry or the exit. Down the way towards turn 2. Tiny little bit out of shape. Does he take any curb turn 3? He does. And then it's up the hill. Let's see how he tackles turn 4 then. Yeah, it seems to be that the guys do just plug it down 1 gear from 7th down to 6th and then really kind of smash that throttle to power through any potential slide that might take them out of bounds and therefore invalidating their lap. Tricky part of the track here though, through sector 2. This is where you can make up a lot of time against people that potentially make some mistakes. And there is a car in front here that may well have to pull over. Yeah. Tries to get a little bit of a toe there, City of R. Might have picked himself up a tiny little bit of time. I've not looked at the split, so this will be a surprise, whatever it is. Oh, it'll be a surprise for City of R as well. Gets out of shape. going through turn number 13. That's going to cost him at least 1/10, if not more. But he does power through the line. See what he can do. Yeah, gets a 10th and a half up to P number 16. Still Lyric out in front then. We've got Estenbar. He's on an outlap. Eruptions back in the pits. Cloud. Cloud looks like he may well be starting his next run then. 7.5 minutes left of this short qualification session here. Gwenfro says correct. Yeah, 7.5 minutes left, so plenty of time left in qualification for these guys to manoeuvre their way up through the classifications. It is a tough track if it's busy though, so we'll see the two McLarens just about managing to avoid each other, and Cloud managing to keep his lap valid. A really nice turn 5 there from Cloud though. Let's just keep our eye on that split as we go through sector 2 timer between turns 11 and 12. A little way to go till we get to that yet, but Cloud is 4/10 off pole pace. Here he comes. What have we done if we're Cloud? Only a 10th better. So a 10th doesn't improve position, and that should be... Oh, it isn't. It isn't invalidation. Looked to me as though he probably... I think his front tyre probably crossed before his rear tyre went over, so he's got away with it, but he's only a 10th better off. Can't believe we had a kick Sauber morphing into turn 13 then, but on the rain down to the line, yeah, less than a 10th, so he lost a little bit of time there. Not Zyro up in P5 now in the Ferrari, got himself up into the 13.4s. The only driver in the 13.4s, it has to be said. Mr. Titans tier 1D. I don't know, mate. You're down here. You're doing okay. A 115 flat for you so far. ADF yet to head out. Jay is on his either cool-down lap. Having a quick look at that. Tachube on the run. Let's just see what Tachube's split here is. Only 13,000's better off. Navigates turn 4 very well, though. I'm getting my tiers and turns mixed up tonight. Another good run of tier turn 5. Ladies and gentlemen, just take a look at the top. We've got somebody in the 12. So 12.9. There's an invalidation there from Tachube. Estenbar, 12.9. That is pretty crazy. And around we go. Jose Gamer pushing it hard. He's not using any ERS, so he's not on a lap here by any stretch of the imagination. He made a mistake there through tier 2. Good lord, sector 2. I've got my turns, my tiers, and my sectors mixed up. Supply Raptor dips in. Eruption is just chilling after an invalidation. Is he going to get his battery back up to full whack so we can go again? Or will he have to dip into the pits or do another cooldown? He's just going to go for it, I think. Going to run with an 86 battery, is he? Yeah, he's going to run with an 86 battery. So let's just see how Eruption goes then. Eruption's looking for 3 and a bit tenths to get himself up. Mr. Time for pole, says B-Dunk. 12s is actually insane. You're right. You're absolutely spot on, Gwefro. A lot more curb taken by Eruption there at turn 3 than we've seen on prior laps. I have to say, as a driver, this is one of my favourite tracks. Whoa, out of shape there. That'll be it for Eruption. Eruption will not be setting a lap here. He will pull out of that one, as he does. Sketchy Bull, though. Sketchy Bull actually went a 10th and a half quicker there to find himself up in P6. Let's just double check that Eruption's not... Eruption's actually still going quicker. And now he's lost 6/10. So let's focus our attention. Who's on the next? Let's see. Is it Thermo? Yeah, Thermo's on the next outlap. Jimmy's going to take me to the back of the shed here soon. Good lord, steady on. Too many hashtags. Good evening, Sean. Good evening, Noah. Gentlemen, ladies, and those that have arrived and yet to announce that they have arrived. Welcome in. I hope you're doing very well. I don't know how many people we've got in here this evening. We've got 28 of you guys in here right now. Let's hear from you. I want to know who you think is going to win this race. The race winner from last week and the current pole position Sitter, provisional pole position sitter in Estenbar, looks pretty strong, we can't lie. But Lyric, finishing 3rd last week and 2nd on the grid as we stand. Pretty good. Eruption finishing 4th last week, if I remember rightly. And again, looking pretty good. And Cloud, who finished 2nd last week. So the top 4 from last week are the top 4 from this week in slightly different order, but still good stuff. Troy, good evening. I'm doing very well, thank you, sir. I hope you are as well. This is Mr. Titan's hazing ceremony. Only problem is we extended it for another season. Oh, dear. Titan will get points today, says Jim. You got a point last week, did he not, I think? Osmari, the Alpine, looking like he got pace. Absolutely he is. In brackets, maybe. Mr. Titan for the win, says B. Dunk. Gwenfro for the win, says Skill Issue. And here we go, then. Right, Thermo. Thermo with a 14 flat, then. I missed his lap. Ever so sorry, Thermo. Lobby host, and I didn't even call your lap. How very unprofessional of me. Yuki needs to do some work, by the way, ladies and gents. With that 5th-place grid penalty, he was all out of shape in the midst of Sector 2 on his first run after a mistake. He made contact with somebody, and it looks like he's not actually pushing at the minute. No, he's not pushing at the moment, so we'll move on. To Tubi. What's Tubi up to right now? No, he's not on it. Oh, he might be actually. He's just finished a cooldown. So let's just see how he climbs up this hill. Nope, he's not on one either. Gwenfro. Now, Gwenfro for the win. Round turn number 1. Nothing from him either. City of Art is on hot lap. DRS. Let's see with City of Art and see how he gets on. I'm joking. I'm backing my boy Esteban as I'm the supreme leader of the Alpine 15 club. Absolutely. Alpine looking pretty strong, it has to be said, this evening with Estembar. A little bit of work to do for Jose, if he's going to challenge up there as well. But City of R here, going through turn number 5. Currently sat 18th. ADF yet to set a lap. However, he is out on track at the moment. Let's just double check in with him. Is he first? No, he's behind City of R. So let's stick with City of R at the minute. 300 slower for the McLaren of City of R. Can he make any time up? That red flashing fuel light. He may dip in. Yeah. 600 slower. City of R may throw himself into that pit lane. Let's just have a quick check where Lyric is, by the way. Lyric's literally just starting. So with 19 seconds left, this is the challenge from Lyric then for that pole position. Let's just check on where Eruption is. Eruption's invalidated. No more positions for Eruption. Cloud, invalidated. So it's down to Lyric, it would appear. Unless Zyros can throw us in. Zyros will get a run. So let's stick on board with Lyric as he goes through the chicane. Navigates that pretty well. Just about manages to stay off the grass. Then it's through 8 and 9. Here comes number 10, the left-hander. Not a lot of curb. Now into 11. Down the hill towards number 12. Plenty of curb on the inside. Yeah, purple sector 2. Everybody gets a purple sector 2, though. We know that. Into turn 13. This is where you can make it happen. Make it rain for that front row slot. Lyric looking for a 10th and a bit. Has he found it then? The chase down to the line. He doesn't find all of it. Gets into the 12s, but doesn't find all of it. Here's Zyros. Zyros off track. He will not improve either. ADF managed to get himself up into P7. Sketchy. Sketchy coming around turn 13. Into turn 14. Can Sketchy in the kick Sauber jump his teammate maybe? Needs a 10th to get in front of his teammate. And does do. Up into P6. Relegating ADF to P8. We've got Gwenfro, City of R. Gwenfro, no, no, and no again. City of R won't improve either. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be your lot. It will be the race winner from last week, Alpine's Estembar, that will sit on pole position. And it will be the Red Bull of Lyric joining him on the front row in P2. P3, it'll be Eruption. On the second row alongside him, it will be Cloud in the McLaren. So what have we got there? So 7 different teams in the top 7 places on the grid. We've then got the Kick Sauber of ADF in P8, closely behind Sketchy Bull. So the Kick Sauber team principal will be probably reasonably happy with that qualification session. as the clock will tick down. 1 minute remaining. As our guys obviously just go around their laps. Let's see what's happening in A Racing. Going to be chaos today, says Skill Issue. 3 seasons of hazing is a bit much, and I played high school football, says Mr. Tight. Here we go then. It is Esteban on pole position in the Alpine. 44,000s clear of Lyric in the Red Bull. Then it's Eruption in P3 in the Aston Martin with McLaren's Cloud in P4. Third row is Not Zyros in the Ferrari with Kick Sauber's Sketchy Bull keeping him for company, with Freddie Rizal in the Williams on P7 with P8's ADF Kick Sauber. P9 it's Tachubi in the Mercedes with P10 the Haas of Supply Raptor. And then we've got Mateo 11. 12 it's BRT Yuki. Major Castleman P13. P14 it's Jose. 15 Thermo. 16 Fletcher. 17 J. 18 Gwenfro. 19 City of R. And starting from the back of the grid, it will be Mr. Titan. But we are going to give it some. Pete, good evening. I hope you're doing well, mate. 1 more season to go after this one, says B-Dunk. And there we go. Somebody in chat did say that we may well have some rather inclement weather here in Hungary. Of course, the Hungora Ring in Budapest is located in a valley. So valleys attract rain. We know that. If you were in geography at school, you'll know that valleys do attract rain. The rain clouds do come down the hillside into the valley, causing incredibly wet scenarios. And as you can see, there aren't many fans. The reflection of the stands there in the glass, the stands are empty, ladies and gentlemen. They're staying dry in the concourse before they don their plastic Max to come out in this downpour and get themselves ready for the start of this Hungarian Grand Prix. It is round 2. It is MRL. And of course, it is Tier 1 for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We can't wait. You can't wait. And I'm pretty sure the drivers are biting. Biting? Chomping at the bit. Biting at the bit. Chomping at the bit. Either or. Ready for the start of this race. Let's hear from you then in chat. For your predictions as the lights start to go on and the rain comes down here in Budapest. It's showtime in Tier 1 for Moose Racing League's round number 2. And it's all go. Racing down towards the line, then it is Estenbar that seems to maintain some form of lead, but he will be challenged side by side by Lyric. Lyric actually on the inside in the Red Bull does get the move done, and he will take the lead of this race before we get down to turn 2. Lyric, Estenbar, Cloud up into P3, Eruption, Freddie Rizal moving up into P5 ahead of Not Zyros and Sketchy Bull, therefore alongside Supply Raptor. ADF Mateo, Tachubi, Thermo, Major Castleman, Jose Gamer, Fletcher, Gwenfro, BRT Yuki, City of R, JFS, and Mr. Titan, the 2 V-Cobs at the back of this pack. But out in front, it is the Red Bull of Lyric, who's moved up from P2 into P1. Through the chicane we go, yellow flags in the background. There is a Kick Sauber and a Mercedes. Together, the Kick Sauber looks like it might be stuck. Let's just double check. He's in the wall, trying to get himself out. It's a virtual safety car here then on lap 1 in treacherous conditions. It's full wet conditions as well, it would seem, with only Eruption. Eruption taking that big gamble. That's what we like to see. And Eruption always gives us some form of gamble. And the gamble this time is to sit there on those intermediate tyres because we know that, well, I say we know, we think that after 3, 4, maybe 5 laps, a dry line will begin to appear with these wet tyres pumping out 65 litres of water per second. And here we go. Are we going to go green again? Not quite yet. Let's be careful of drive-through penalties, gentlemen. Don't get too eager on the throttle. Virtual safety car then. So, let's take a look. Lyric, Estenbar, Cloud, Eruption, Not Zyros, Sketchy Bull in the kick up into P6. Let's just take a look at that movement of position then. We'll get some other stuff on for you. Winners and losers. So the 2 losers so far, ADF and Tachubi, got involved in that collision between turns 5 and 6. They dive into the pit lane to repair damage. Not many losers, it has to be said. as Jay now down 2 spots. But lots of drivers in that midfield up 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. Full wet to Inter, wet the last third. Full wet to Inter, wet the last third. Good Lord. The race is going to be a mess, says Jim. Thank you, machine. Always a pleasure, Pete. Always a pleasure, sir. How many have we got tuning in? Because if it's not 140,000, it's not enough. 29 of you, gentlemen and ladies and people tuning in right now. Make sure you go as we go back to green. Lyric, Estambar, Cloud, Eruption, Not Zyro, Sketchy Bull, Supply Raptor, Freddy Rizal, Mateo and Thermo. That's the top 10. A little look up the inside of Thermo by Major Castleman there in that Haas, and a gap forming. Obviously no DRS. The DRS conditions are not suited right now. We'll have to keep our eye on Eruption on those intermediate tyres. He has dropped off the back of Cloud and will find himself, no doubt, coming under pressure from the Ferrari of Not Zyros. Not Zyro would be better to take a tighter line on the inside here if we're going to see a slidey Aston Martin. 1.1 seconds the gap. So Eruption will be praying for this first 3, 4 or 5 laps to get done and dusted, so those intermediate tyres become the quicker tyre, because they absolutely will. We've already heard in chat that it's full wets, Inters full wets, with a potential downpour towards the end of the race, just to make the end spicier than it absolutely is already. Keep your eyes open, ladies and gentlemen, for that dry line forming. Tutubi and ADF have indeed gambled on that intermediate tyre. Makes complete and utter sense for them. Eruption not dropping too far off the back of the leading 3, it has to be said. Of course, with no DRS as well, it means that he won't drop too far back. He's not under pressure down that long home straight. Only one DRS zone, of course, here. And it does sound like we might not get DRS engaged at all throughout this entire race. So, tick your bingo box, ladies and gentlemen. Wet tyre, intermediate tyre, virtual safety car, that's 3 down already. And of course, we've had a couple of early pit stops. Fastest lap of the race is a 1 minute 30.5 by Lyric, who leads the way. 1 second almost down the road from the Alpine of Estambar, but Cloud in close contention there, only 4/10 off the back of the Alpine. Let's just have a quick check on what the visibility looks like. Visibility looks reasonable. We are going around one of the slowest corners on the track, of course, but let's just keep our eyes on visibility as we climb back up the hill towards turn number 4. How are these guys going to tackle turn 4 then? Difficult in the dry. Down to 5th gear. That in front there for Estambar, that was probably a warning, I would think. Seemed to have all 4 tyres straying over that white line. Mr. Testarossa, I'm drinking a... I don't even know what it is. I think it's a German Pilsner by the name of Perlenbacher. And it's very nice as well. Lyric appears to maybe have a connection problem there. I just saw him leap out a little bit of time in front. Nothing too crazy. Estambar just about keeps himself in a valid position there, but has dropped over 1 second behind. No real consequences for that right now, other than just being a second behind, of course. No DRS. Eruption, 1.4 seconds. No real dry line forming yet for the Aston Martin man. Let's take a quick look towards the rear end, see what we've got over here. Mr. Titan in the V-Cob seems to be struggling a little bit. Alongside his teammate JSF1 as Lyric sets a 30.1. City of R trying to hang on to the back of Gwenfro there, currently in P15. And then we've got Jose Gamer, the other Alpine, currently in P14. And a big batch of traffic there behind both Fletcher and Thermal. We've got some action happening down towards turn 1. And that's Freddy Rizal making a move on the Red Bull of Mateo. Freddy getting the job done down towards turn 2. A little look there from the Red Bull on the inside, but thinks better of it. Probably a wise decision that from Mateo. As he lets... let's just have a quick look at Thermal Fletcher side by side there through turn 2 down towards turn 3. Is somebody going to back out? No, they're both going to plough through. Are we going to see any comings together through turn 4? This is where we've got to be careful, gentlemen. And we do demonstrate a little bit of care. Round turn number 5. A little bit of extra grip around the outside, perhaps, from Fletcher as he tries to get in towards the chicane in the lead position and does so. Thermo and Jose Gamer coming close together. A little bit of tapping of wheels, and here comes the Mercedes as well of Gwenfro. Interesting there. A little bit of pushing and shoving between these guys running in the mid to lower midfield. It is actually very good, Mr. Testros. It tastes rather delicious. And actually, more than anything else, it is good hydration for a man on comms. 3 guys went through there and set consecutive fastest laps. Lyric, Esteban, and Cloud. So they're staying quite close. Do we see any form of dry line approaching just yet? It's not far away, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're a couple of laps away from Eruption being the fastest car out on track as Freddy and Matteo exchange positions once again down in towards turn 1. Supply Raptor in the Haas. Not very good visuals there. Lots of spray coming up from these cars, and Supply Raptor's doing a good job to stick to the back of the Ferrari of Not Zyros. Not Zyros just dropped off the back there of that leading pack of 4, 1.8 seconds to Eruption, and Eruption probably just running his own race right now. Just, I would imagine, knowing Eruption as I do, he would just be displaying some composure. He'll be quite relaxed. He won't be worrying too much about that 1.7 second gap because he knows that dry line isn't far away, and then he'll be the fastest car out on track. Let's check in with this battle between Thermo and Gwenfro again, because this looks quite tasty early doors here. Lap 6 of 35 here, Tier 1, Moose Racing League. A very, very wet race around the Hungaroring here in Budapest, Hungary. Plenty of gaps forming, though, throughout this field, isn't there? Freddie Rozelle, another gentleman who's quite close to his the person he's chasing down. 8 tenths behind Sketchy Bull, who's 2.5 off the back of Supply Raptor. Then a few gaps of over 1 and 2 seconds. Thermo Gwenfro still tussling it out with Jose Gamer and City of R and Jay not too far behind. Let's just see what we can see from Jay's perspective then as those 4 cars go through in front of him. One of them looked to go quite deep. The Ferrari, sorry, beg your pardon, the McLaren just having a little bit of a slide around there as well. We do see a dry line forming, so let's just keep our eyes on that 1.7 second gap between Eruption and Cloud as well. My expectation is that over the course of the next lap and a half, that will begin to come down. Sean, I'm drinking a German Pilsner called Perlenbacher. It's very nice. More importantly, it's very cheap. Other beers are obviously available. Estenbar, huge penalty. Huge penalty for Estenbar then. As he probably picked that penalty up going through turn 11. So Lyric will be looking. That will encourage Lyric. It will also encourage Cloud. And of course, Eruption still sticking with these guys, 1.7 seconds behind. He will be encouraged by that as well. You'll see he actually made a little bit of time over 2 corners there, took 2 tenths out. So just keep your eye. Everybody else in the wet, over to the right-hand side to keep cool tyres and potentially make moves on the inside at turn 1. Everybody stays in formation though. Lyric. Let's have a quick look. Lyric. Estenbar, Cloud, Eruption. That gap 2.8, 2.7 seconds now back to Zyro. Supply Raptor just sticking with him though. Haas sticking with Ferrari. Both Ferrari engines, of course. Sketchy Bull leading Freddie Rozelle along. Freddie's managed to pull away marginally from the Red Bull of Matteo. But Matteo does make a little bit of time back through a couple of corners there. Jose Gamer's the other driver, by the way, to pick up a penalty. Let's just double check on that penalty. Yeah, 3 seconds. We thought it might be. A potential mistake from Eruption has allowed a couple of tenths to go out there. It is indeed very nice. You've had it yourself as well. Good. Yes, it's not too shabby, my friend. It's not too shabby. Yeah, so maybe that crossover period hasn't quite happened yet from wets to inters, because we can see those 3 guys out in front, Lyric, Estenbar and Cloud, sticking to each other like glue throughout this first 8 laps. They're about to start lap number 9, of course, of this 35 lap race. Let's see if anybody dips into the wet to try and cool tyres down. I don't know whether they were cooling tyres down. Maybe they're just trying to get the tow from Lyric, those 3 leading cars. But Eruption got that down to 1.3. Then on the exit, it's gone back up again. So it's not quite ready yet, I don't think. Let's just check in with the guys at the back because it'd be rude not to. So ADF and Tatubi just trying to plug along and keep their spirits high at the rear of this 20-car field. Tatubi's actually had enough of those intermediate tyres. So Tatubi's going back into the pits. Now, is he going to come and throw some fresh intermediates on? Or is he going to go hard? Let's just take a look. Not hard, sorry. Wet. He's gone onto the wets. He's gone full wet tyre. So, not a believer in the intermediate Tatubi. He's got rid. He's going to come out in plenty of clean air. And I guess one to watch now would be the gap between himself and ADF. So let's just keep our eyes on that gap. 22 seconds. While we take a look back out in front again. Let's check in with Sketchy and Freddy. Sketchy and Freddy have definitely got Matteo for company now. He's managed to catch back up. A little bit of a sideways movement there from Freddy Rozelle. Off into the wet to try and either cool the tyres down or break the toe or a bit of both for Sketchy. Is this a bold move from Matteo? It is a bold move from Matteo. Does he get it to work, though? He's on the wet, so he might not have the traction out of turn number 1. Side by side with Freddy Rozelle then through turn 2. A little bit of wheel bumping and banging. But that was actually, do you know what? That's pretty good racing from those two guys. Kept it nice and clean and civil through that corner. Is BRT Yuki catching up then with those two guys battling? 1.9 seconds, 1.8 seconds. Feels like he might be catching up to the back of that track. Major Castleman in the Haas. Currently starting P11. A lonely race for him. 3.4 seconds as he goes through the chicane off the back of BRT Yuki. 2.6 seconds clear of Fletcher. Fletcher, obviously, 1.6 seconds clear of Thermo, who's 1.9 seconds clear of Gwenfro. But Major Castleman, all of a sudden, that 2.8 second gap is eroded by his inability to stick within the white lines in these treacherous conditions. We've lost to Tubby. So Tubi's had enough into the pit lane. He stuck the wet tyres on and just gone out. Eruption now. Okay. Now we might be in business, ladies and gentlemen, because Eruption's just set the fastest lap of this race. The gap was teetering around the 2-second mark, and now Eruption has got a fastest lap of the race, and he's got the gap down to 1.3 seconds. Need a safety car to bunch everyone up. The only person on this grid right now who doesn't want a safety car is your man Eruption. He's absolutely hunky-dory with the current situation. Esteban with a penalty in front. Absolutely, now is the time. If you're going to throw on any other tyre right now, it has to be the intermediate. Eruption's the quickest man out on track, and he may well be leading this race in the not-too-distant future if these 3 guys out in front don't pit for an intermediate tyre. Because if it's going to be wet tyres later on, they might want to throw a set of inters on now to change to later on. That will give Eruption one heck of an advantage. Let's just see his POV from behind there. Purple sector 2. Third gear as he goes around the hairpin. None of the front 3 are going to pit. None of the front 3 pit. Does anybody else dive in for those inters? He can stay on that track, on that left-hand side. Hard on the brakes. ERS off. Fastest lap yet again. Now, he's kind of been held up by Cloud here. He'll want to try and get past these guys as quickly as possible. We know that Hungary, a.k.a. Monaco without walls, is an incredibly tough track to pass at. Turns 11 to 12. It's 14 down to 1. Those are the places, but with a little bit of extra traction perhaps on this dry line, maybe Eruption can find something a little bit special here throughout some of these twisty turns of Sector 2. Won't find it here at the chicane, of course, and certainly not through turns 8, 9 and 10. But maybe he'll get better drive. He's just dropped off a little bit, 6/10 off the back now, so he's not going to get enough drive, I don't think, from turn 11 down to 12 to challenge. And it may be that actually the tyres are beginning to wear a little bit now, 11 laps. So yeah, not quite managing to get up with these guys. Are they going to pit this lap? No, they're not. They're going to swing out left, and they're going to head down towards lap number 13. Yeah, absolutely, Minico, for sure, my friend. The thing is, when is the optimum time to pit? We know that none of these tyres are going to get that 35 laps in. All the wet runners, it would appear, are dashing through the wet, the puddles. We're going to see a move in from Matteo, are we? On the inside, down at turn number 1 on Sketchy Bull. Yeah, gets the job done. Has he got the traction, though? Coming out of turn 1 as Esteban picks up another 3 seconds. It'll be Matteo and Sketchy Bull down to turn number 2. And Sketchy Bull will retain P7. Good work from the Kick Sauber. Let's just get on board with Freddie then. He's got a front row seat to this turn 4 battle. Everybody keeps it legal, even behind as well. What have we got there? Ferrari, BRT Yuki. Doing a good job after his 5th-place grid penalty. All the while, though. Does this make... Is this Tier 1B? This Tier 1B? 17 laps, says Minico. So plenty of laps left to go just yet before we expect to see anybody diving into that pit lane. A couple of drivers here just driving their own personal little battle. It's Zyros and Supply Raptor. Four guys on into towards the end. Now then, Zyros has followed Cloud. Supply Raptor reacts as well. So those 3 guys have reacted. Let's just see what the flavour of undercut here as Sketchy Bull dives in as well. Matteo carries on. So Matteo carries on. Sketchy Bull in. Freddie Rozelle in. Sketchy Bull. Now, Sketchy Bull picks up 10 seconds there. That may well have been Freddie Rozelle bumping into the rear. We didn't quite catch it. But did Sketchy Bull get punted from behind by Freddie Rozelle? They were both very close going into the pit lane. We didn't quite catch it on camera. But we will find out, I'm sure, in the steward's room if anything was happening. Eruption must be absolutely desperate to get by Esteban here. Esteban with 6 seconds of penalties. The championship leader after the first round. Making some mistakes here around Hungary. So even our championship leader is not fallible when it comes to mistakes around the Hungaroring. He's just parking the bus at the moment. And Eruption just isn't able to get past the Alpine. We may well see... yeah, there we go. Into the pit lane. Go both Lyric and Esteban then. Eruption. Free road to race into. And here comes Cloud, by the way. Let's keep our eye on Cloud. He might be sat in P6, but he's pitted for those fresh tyres. Are we going to see Matteo and Yuki diving? Yes, we are. So Cloud, can Cloud get out in front of Lyric and Esteban, or is he too far back? Looks like he might be too far back to get out, but he will have some good warmth into those tyres. Is he going to get out in front of both? It's going to be tight down into turn 1. And it'll be Lyric just about besting him. But will the warmer tyres of Cloud mean better traction out of turn 1 down to 2? No, they won't. Lyric does indeed maintain it, but here comes Cloud. Can he go around the outside here at turn number 2? He'll be on the inside at turn 3, will he? No. Lyric does indeed pull through and retains P2. 18 seconds the gap then between Eruption and the Aston Martin P1, Lyric in the Red Bull P2. Cloud's McLaren in P3, Esteban then with those penalties in P4, and Cloud has managed to get himself out in front. But Eruption just bided the time, sat there on those intermediate tyres from the start, and he finds himself 18.3 seconds down the road. Don't know quite how quick a pit stop is here at Hungary. MRK, good evening, mate. Can you do? So can Eruption take his into so he turns back to wets? Quite possibly. If the rain gets heavier, we've heard, Minico, we've heard from the pit lane that it may be the rain gets heavier in the last third of the race. In which case, he'll be in outstanding position as all the guys get into. So Cloud, 128.3, the new quickest lap of the race. All the guys getting off that dry line, of course, into the wet patch on the right-hand side as Zyro then picks up the fastest lap of the race with a 28 flat. Tachubi, the only man not racing now. He retired a few laps ago. So Eruption leading the way. The lead down below 18 seconds now, though. Let's just check in a little bit further on down. ADF throwing those intermediate tyres away. That allows Jose Gamer to go through, City of R to go through as well, and Jay's F1. So ADF relegated back down to P18 now, and Mr. Titan in P19, a good 20-odd seconds off the back of him as well. Mr. Titan just coming round turn 14 now to start his 16th lap, I believe. Yeah, he'll start his 16th lap. But the one thing Eruption has against him is that his tyres will not make it to the end. Yeah, I agree, Pete, and I agree, Minico, as well. I think he'll get a few more laps out of those, and then we'll see that 17.4 second gap begin to tumble. He'll want the rain to start again. It doesn't look like it's raining overly heavy right now. Thermo and Gwenthro still battling away. Of course, Gwenthro currently sat in P12. Thermo P13 down towards turn 12 they go. A little bit tentative. Slightly fresher tyres on the Aston Martin we see here. Gwenthro 5 laps. Thermo 1 lap. You can see how close he gets there through turn number 13. We might see a challenge down to turn 1, although with a tiny little bit of a correction in the steering there from Thermo. Burning some battery. Grenfell burning battery as well down to turn 1. So the burning the battery and the lack of DRS, of course, will keep Gwenthro in P12. 3.94 seconds off the back of Major Castleman in the Haas, who's running his own race at the moment. 1.8 seconds behind Yuki, who's 1.7 seconds off the back of the Red Bull of Matteo. Just dropped off the back of Freddie Rizal. Freddie Rizal keeping with Sketchy Bulldo in the Kick Sauber. The same tyre life and the same tyre compound between those two. If he pits, he'll come out behind, of course, but he will have, if he gets to full wets again, he'll catch back up for sure. It's always easy to catch on this track, my friend. Overtaking is another matter, especially with no DRS. So if it is a 100% wet race, there'll be no DRS activated throughout the whole duration of our 35 laps here. We have just gone over half race distance. We've had 18 laps of wet weather. So we've had 17 laps of wet weather, and we're starting our 18th. That gap that was 18 is now 16.4 for Eruption. Eruption just praying for the rain to tumble down yet again, otherwise he's going to find himself in a little bit of trouble. He'll be playing a guessing game as to whether he throws on inters or wets next time round. If it stays as it is, of course, the guess, should I say, is easy. It'll be intermediates. So that's put an exclamation point on it with Jose Gamer throwing a 27.7 down. Or 27.3, should I say. I think even if the change... No, I'm going to do 8 there, by lap 32-ish. Yeah, probably. Let's just get back with Gwenthro and Thermo then, because they're still tussling it out. Up towards turn 4. Is it turn 4? Yeah, it is turn 4. It's a close tussle. And look, that tussle between Gwenthro and Thermo is dragging Jose Gamer with that fastest lap in. And also bringing Fletcher in and Jose Gamer as well. So 4 cars tussling it out now. for that final point. Points go down to P12 here in Moose Racing League. Lap 19. Lap 19 of 35 as Estenbar is our newest fastest lap owner with a 1:27.1. Some real good stuff between these four here now. We're going to see a right old tussle between these four guys as Eruption's lost yet another second off that race lead. He's in the midst of Sector 2, just going through the chicane right now as Lyric, Cloud and Estenbar navigate their way through Turn 4 into Turn 5. Are we going to see a move here from Thermo on the inside of Gwenfro at turn number 1? We are. But will he have the traction to maintain it? No, he won't. They come together. The Mercedes and the Aston Martin come together. Then an opportunistic look by Fletcher in the Williams as Thermo ends up ghosted for some reason. And Jose Gamer, an interested and eager spectator, just waiting for mistakes to perhaps happen with the 3 cars in front of him. Then he can benefit and take advantage of any mistakes by these guys. But for now, he'll have to settle in for P15. That gap down to 14 seconds out in front now. Did we just see some wing fall off a car there? No, it might have just been one of our infamous track glitches here on F124. Lyric, Cloud and Estenbar sticking to each other like glue, though, still here on lap 20 of 35. 13.9 seconds back. 4 tenths then back to Cloud. Estenbar a further 6 tenths back. Then a huge gap back to Not Zyros of 8.2 seconds, running his own race. Concentrate, though, I suppose. If you're Zyros, you're just able to concentrate on your own race, as is Supply Raptor. Sketchy Bull could, but he's got Freddie Roselle and Mateo for company. Yuki just dropping off the back of that ever so slightly. Tyres are going rapidly, says Pete. Yeah, they are. That 14.5 has become 13.5 in a heartbeat. The longer you wait, of course, the longer you wait, if you're in the Aston Martin of Eruption, the less laps you've got to try and fight back with the fresher rubber. You would imagine they'd take inters, of course, with the dry line. It would have to be some significant downpour to make this a wet track from now. Cloud into the 26s, 26.4. Is he dropping Estenbar? As Jays picks up 3 seconds for his interpretation of track limits, not meeting those of the race director. All 4 tyres over the white lines for at least one time. Sketchy Bull, of course, with that 13 seconds now. 3 seconds for Major Castleman, Jose Gamer and Jays. 6 seconds for Estenbar. Seems to be struggling to keep on to the back of these guys as they go through turn 4, but has just set a purple sector 2. And now we're down to 12.1 seconds. The time absolutely tumbling down between Eruption in P1 and Lyric in P2. And because Lyric, of course, is just towing along Cloud and Estenbar, Eruption may well find himself in... Well, he will find himself in 4th position after the pit stop, when he does his pit stop. When's he going to do it, though? Is he going to come in now? No, he isn't. He carries on. On to lap number 22 we go then in the Aston Martin of Eruption. Just trying to eke it out. 13, 14 laps to go. He will have to come in. Eruption's going to win, says Snoop. What's Eruption waiting for at this point? No way his tyres last, I agree. I'm expecting to see him driving in a lot more of these puddles just to cool those tyres down, just to perhaps eke an extra lap out of them. But if I'm Eruption, I'm probably looking to try and pit now. A little bit out of shape there going through 4. Seemed to turn in perhaps a little bit too soon. These three guys, Lyric, Cloud, and Estenbar, still in formation as they have been for a while. Who's not in formation, though, it's Sketchy Bull and Freddie Rizal going into turn one side by side. Sketchy Bull trying to hold that line. Is he going to be able to keep it, or is Freddie Rizal going to have the inside line at turn number 2? He is. Can Sketchy keep, therefore, the inside at 3? He can. Side by side they go. A little bit of contact between the two. Don't know whether that was too much. Ooh! Super stuff from these guys. 4 cars all tussling it out now for P7. We're going to see this race heat up for sure. That was good racing in what can only be described as disgusting conditions for these 4 guys. Certainly Sketchy and Freddie getting right into it with each other here on lap 23 and 35. I'll be surprised if we don't see some form of incident. Let's not forget, we've had 1 virtual safety car so far. Not to put a curse on it, but 1 virtual safety car. No full safety car, as Jose's penalty tally leaps up to 6 seconds now, with more warnings causing penalties. An eruption continues on through Sector 1. 10 seconds now, that gap. Surely those tyres do not last. All the guys getting over towards the right-hand side, getting into the water, cooling down those tyres. Whoa, big dive down the inside. That is from Matteo on Freddie Rizal. Will he get through? Will it be legal? Let's have a look from Yuki's perspective. Side by side they go then into turn 2. They fall into formation and it's Kick Sauber followed by Red Bull and then Williams. So Matteo making an almighty lunge down into turn 1. Gets himself in front. This will be a brave move. This will be a brave move. Contact between the Ferrari and the Williams. And that was a little bit ambitious, I feel, from Yuki. Trying to make a move on the outside of turn 4 there. Paid the full price by picking up contact, which shunted him out into the wilderness there at turn 4 on the exit. And that was not the fault of the leading car, Freddie Rizal. It was just an ambitious move there by BRT Yuki. And yeah, he paid the price. And that's probably going to allow Major Castleman there in the Haas to try and sneak up onto the back of this chasing group. Supply Raptor, 4.5 seconds now. The gap between himself and not Zyros in P5. Yellow flags, though, in Sector 1. What have we got? Do we have yellow flags? I think that's probably... Yeah, that's Mr. Titan getting out of the way of Eruption there. You'll see now that Eruption has navigated that traffic. 8.6 seconds. The gap between himself and Lyric. But he does have that comfort blanket now of knowing that Mr. Titan, on those 10-lap old intermediate tyres, is between them. He will obviously get out of the way as quick as he possibly can, but in these conditions, you have to be real careful. 8 seconds the gap. So now the time is tumbling. Every single corner takes us at least a 10th off. Freddie dives in. Fresh intermediates for the Williams man. He's had enough of those. Anybody else gone in for fresh inters? No, not yet. 23 laps on those intermediate tyres for Eruption. Will surely have to dive into the pits. Is he going to come in now? No, he's not. He feints to go in. Stays out. Surely, the Aston Martin of Eruption's got to come in. He's running out of time. If he doesn't pit now, he will get overtaken before the end of the race. And he won't have time to catch the guys back up if it's a 20 to 22 second pit stop time. So decisions to be made, conversations to be had on the Aston Martin pit wall as to what's going to happen, because we're now down to 7 seconds and here comes Lyric, Cloud and Estenbar in full flow. A little bit squirrely though for the Alpine of Estenbar. Gets out of shape, but still pulling away quite nicely from that Ferrari of Not Zyros. Let's just check in with some of the guys at the back there. Freddie Rizal with that fresh rubber on. Estenbar, his race is cooked. 9 seconds now of penalties. Look at the sliding around there of Jay's. And here comes Freddie Rizal then on the inside. Is Jay staying out? Jay's does indeed stay out. Freddie Rizal 1.7 seconds off the back of the McLaren of City of R. Nobody else diving into the pit lane for any fresh tyres as it currently stands. Only lost 4 tenths so far on this lap at the front Eruption. So he's actually at turn number 12 now. Let's just check in with him. because he's at turn number 12, and here comes Eruption. Eruption at turn 12. Now, we can see Ultra Titan there. Sorry, Mr. Titan. Just navigating turn 13, and you can just sense from the way that Lyric is pushing this car hard, he is hunting down Eruption. 5.7 seconds the gap. Lap 26 of 35. Eruption's fumbled unless a safety car comes out, says Pete. He's got to stay out, says Snoop Francis. 9.5 seconds, says Pete. It's now down to 5.6, Pete. And look at Titan getting himself out of the way there. He's got some work to do to stay out of the way of 3 cars. And he's managed to do that really well. Well done, Titan. Much appreciated there, sir. Whoa! Estenbar has himself yet another moment. That'll be another warning for the Alpine man. For absolute sure. He's all over the show. But he is going to be able to. He's got a big enough gap between himself and not Zyros. Unless he's picked up more penalties than I thought. He's picked up 12 seconds. So, you know, any more warnings, he'll be in a right pickle. But Freddie Rizal on those fresh intermediate tyres gives a real good indication as to what the good fresh rubber can do for you. Setting the fastest lap of this race so far. Can we see? Can we see? Yeah, there we go. You see it just going round into turn 13. It's Eruption in the green machine, being followed by the Red Bull of Lyric. 4 seconds the gap. Yellow flags in sector 2. It's a Ferrari. Might have been Major Castleman. No, it was Supply Raptor and Zyros in some way, shape or form getting into it there. Estenbar's just dropped off the back of that chasing 2. So Lyric and Cloud then, they will both fancy their chances to win this Hungarian Grand Prix. They're reeling in the leading Aston Martin of Eruption. A tenth at a time, a corner at a time. Let's just see how some of these guys are getting on down in the midfield. Then Thermo. Is Thermo going to the pits lane then? No, Thermo wasn't going to the pits. Fletcher, Guenfro. Jose and Guenfro getting into it at turn 13. Then who's going to come out on top in that little tussle? It'll be Guenfro. Let's just see there. Guenfro maybe end up going side by side as they get down into turn number 1. Is there a good enough slipstream and toe to slingshot it? Not quite. Oh. Jose holds that real well. 6 seconds time penalty for Jose and none for Guenfro, of course. But good to see these guys tussling it out on track. Put the time penalty at the back of your mind and just focus on racing the car within the vicinity. Freddie Rizal, by the way, on those fresh tyres. Let's just jump on with Freddie, because what we'll get here, a view from Freddie, he will be chomping at the bit to get past these as Eruption. Wozers, Trozers. There we go. Into the pit lane goes Eruption then. Throwing on the fresh rubber. Has Eruption left himself enough time to get back up with these guys out in front? Let's just see what the gap is as he crosses that pit lane line. He's going to come to pressure maybe into turn 1. No, 16 seconds then, ladies and gentlemen. What have we got? 8 laps, 16 seconds. The chase for Aston Martin is on. He's virtually guaranteed a podium based around the penalties linked to the Alpine of Estenbar. But he's got to be on the chase now. We've seen how quick Freddie Rizal was on the fresh intermediate tyres. We've got a feeling that Eruption may well also have plenty of pace on these tyres. They're just going to take a little bit of time to get up to racing pace. But when he does, expect that time between himself and Estenbar to leak down below 15 seconds. Minico says it's way too late. Snoop says if he stayed out, he would have been in Estenbar's penalty gap for certain. Get Estenbar, but no further. Yeah, he's going to have to pace, but not enough to close on the others. Well, we're going to find out, guys. He's made up on cold intermediates. He's made up what, half a second there, 7/10 maybe, on Estenbar. Estenbar's lost a little bit of time. Let's just go for, I think we'll stick with the leader timing for the duration of this last 7 laps. Where have we got any more tussles happening? Sketchy Bull and Major Castleman, perhaps. Yuki just off the back of them. 2 seconds, then back to Thermo. A further gap between Fletcher. Freddie Rizal flying on those fresh intermediate tyres. And there he goes. Just confirmation that he's flying with 12.5 seconds. Guenfro and Jose going at it down towards turn number 1. Looks like Jose's going to win out this time. As he goes up virtually sideways around turn number 1. But Guenfro sticks it out. Nicely stays on the dry line. ADF and J's also into it at turn number 1. So let's just double check then. What was a 15-second gap is now 13.6 between Eruption and Estenbar. Let's just keep it on leader because that's the interesting part of this now. Sintivar and Mr. Titan just comfortable that they can get around the rest of this race. Jim just raced, also chiming in that reckons that Eruption can only get P3. So let's just see. We are running out of laps. 6 laps left to go. And a gap of 15 seconds. Needs over 2 seconds a lap. So we need that 15 to say something around 13 at the end of lap number 30 if he's on pace to try and close the gap. Do we think he can catch Estenbar rather than just do that on penalties? Or do we think he's only going to be able to do it on penalties? Even with 7 laps left. Yeah. It does look like a challenge. It does look like he left it 1 or 2 laps too late in the Aston Martin. But he is pushing. He is pushing 14.3 seconds now. And that gap will come down with every couple of turns. Oh, goes a little bit wide there. But it just doesn't seem to be coming down quite enough. He is going to get into the 13s, I think, before we get to the start-finish line. There it is, into the 13s, back to the 14s again. $13.8. Okay. But we can see that actually Estenbar's also dropping off that front 3 as well. 2.9 seconds off the leader now for Estenbar. What have we got further on down? Look at these guys. Sketchy Bull and Major Castleman. Both with penalties, but again, let's forget about the penalties for a while and just race, boys. They're closing in on Mateo. Off to cool down the tyres is Major Castleman over to the right-hand side through the wet. Round turn 1 they go. Thermo and Freddie coming into it at turn number 1. Thermo maintains it, but will Freddie have the extra grip? He will. Look at that. Extra grip there for Freddie. Gets around Thermo up into P11. Couple of points then for Freddie Rizal as it currently stands. And with Sketchy Bull with that 13-second penalty, Freddie Rizal will be looking to manoeuvre himself up and gain more points as well. We know that Sketchy Bull got a pit lane entry penalty. He'll go to the end. So that may well get removed if he received a punt in the rear from a car going into the pit lane. That might actually have been Freddie Rizal. I can't remember now who it was. Just on penalties, you won't catch them enough to make any passes, says Jim. So you're saying that Eruption won't catch Estenbar, is that right? Yeah. So yeah, 8.9 seconds. You're probably right with 4 laps left to go. Needs a considerable amount of time, and the tyre life of 17 laps isn't too terrible. So too late was the cry then from that Aston Martin pit wall. He's showing some fantastic pace though, and currently holds the fastest lap of the race. 3.5. 3.5. 3.5 left to go. I'm going to stick my neck out and say Eruption is going to get up on the back of Estambar here. Now, I may be wrong, and when I say get on the back of him, I reckon within a second as they cross the start-finish line for the end of the race. As much as that's incredibly intriguing, we do, of course, only have 3 laps left. And we have ourselves a tussle for this race win. Quite similar in terms of battery life. Lyric just trying to keep the tyres cool there. No penalties for either of these two front runners. I don't mean to curse or jinx anybody, but no penalties for either Lyric or Cloud. I've not seen too much of Lyric racing. I'm clearly doing very well this evening. Cloud, I've seen quite a bit of Cloud. Competing with Cookie in both this league and other leagues as well. Ah, Bryce, yes, I did think that's what I'd seen. I did think that's what I'd seen, Bryce. So, yeah, definitely will be looked at by the stewards. And that'll actually save Sketchy from losing a position out to Freddie as well, which is kind of like a little bit of karma. 10-second penalty removed. I think Estambar is safe. Well, it's only 4.9 seconds. I know we're on lap 39. 4.8, 4.7 seconds. Tyres are 19 laps old. So a couple of laps left to go then. All heating up, though, out in front. McLaren, Red Bull. Absolutely safe to fight amongst one another. No traffic out in front other than City of R in that McLaren. Will he come into play? That would be some skullduggery. But I would imagine that he's way too far down the road and quite content and happy just to kind of trundle himself around as Fletcher and Thermo exchange positions. Yellow flags in Sector 1, and it might be for those, that? Where are we? That was Sketchy Bull and Major Castleman potentially getting into it alongside Mateo, who's 2.6 seconds down the road. Went for an ADF, playing for P15 here. Fletcher and Thermo. Fletcher and Thermo have been going right at it for the last few laps. Fletcher coming out on top at this moment in time. 2/10 back to Thermo. As our leaders come round and they start lap number 35. So, let's get into it then. It's the final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix here in tier number 1. Moose Racing League. No DRS. Wet conditions. Not a massive amount of battery on the McLaren of Cloud. Battery advantage and track advantage then for Lyric in the Red Bull. What can McLaren pull out of the hat to try and get this race win here at Budapest at the Hungaroring? Moose Racing League Tier 1 on Sunday night. What have we got? Oh, out of shape. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. A mistake from Cloud. Means that it's all down to Lyric. No mistakes now from the Red Bull. And he will cross the line and win this Hungarian Grand Prix. Into turn 5. Big mistake there from Cloud. He's going to try hard, of course, as you would imagine. But that has just cost him, I think, this race victory. He's going to get himself within a second again, but you needed to be within 3 or 4 tenths going down between turns 11 and 12. As it happens, it looks to me as though we're going to see the Red Bull come round turn number 13, 7 tenths in front of the McLaren, and it's going to be TTRE Lyric here at Budapest, Tier 1, Moose Racing League, as he goes round turn number 14, driving towards the line, and it is indeed Red Bull Lyric wins the race, Cloud in second, Estambar third, with Eruption finishing above Estambar on penalties in the end. Actually, he might have got in front of him on track in the end. Not So Zyro then comes round turn number 14 to try and claim P5. No penalties for him, so he'll get P5. Supply Raptor will follow in P number 6. We've then got quite the substantial gap back to Matteo in the Red Bull. He'll come round the final turn to claim P number 7. Sketchy Bull crosses the line in P8. Relegated initially behind Major Castleman, but will get that position back, we think, due to Freddie Rozel's discrepancies in the pit lane. We've got Fletcher then in P12 crossing the line. Thermo will then come through alongside Jose Gamer. Gwenfro then closely followed by ADF. Jose gets relegated down to P16. Then it'll be Jay with a penalty. City of R will jump Jay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be it for this evening's race around Budapest. We've seen a sensational drive there by... well done to BRT Yuki. Good drive from him. Super stuff. Absolutely brilliant race. I think that was sensational from all involved. But it'll be Lyric stood upon the top step of the podium taking this win. We want better trophies, please, EA. That's a pretty naff trophy. Yeah, it'll be Lyric on the top step of the podium, take P1. In P2, it will be Cloud. And in P3, the predictions were right. It will be Eruption in P3 after delaying the change to those intermediate tyres a little bit too long. Too many tyres. The champagne corks are popped. The champagne sprayed, and of course, they'll chug a few down as well. Let's run through the final standings then. It's Lyric in P1 in the Red Bull from second on the grid. From fourth on the grid is Cloud in the McLaren with Aston Martin's Eruption in third. Aston Martin's third with Eruption. Alpine's Estenbar in fourth with the Ferrari of Not Zyros in fifth. Supply Raptor then up into P6 with Red Bull's Matteo P7. Freddie Rozel under investigation for a collision in the pit lane in P8 with Yuki P9. Major Castleman's Haas P10. Fletcher P11. Sketchy Bull no doubt going to gain some positions there up to P8 in the Kick Sauber P12. P13 it was Thermo. 14 Gwenfro in the Mercedes. Kick Sauber's ADF in 15. Jose Gamer in 16. 17 at City of R. 18 J's. Mr. Titan in 19th. And then Tachubi, who did not finish the race in the Mercedes, finishing dead last. The rain still tumbling down here at Budapest. What a race we had. Wowzers, trousers. Super stuff, guys. Super stuff. Esteban had no game set, apparently, and he had freezers. I did see him, like, jumping backwards and forwards occasionally throughout the course of the race, which may well tell us why he had the problems with the time penalties. My man Mateo says MRK. Mr. Titan says sign. I'm assuming you meant sigh rather than sign, Mr. Titan. That seemed like a pretty tough race for you, my friend. Hello, Minico says Bryce. After Alan took his tyres, I think Aston Bryce safe. Yes. Let's just take a look to see if we've got any gentlemen that want to jump in for a cheeky little chat and an interview. Nobody in the interview waiting room. Wondering if there's anybody there. Aston Bar says, I'm never doing this again. Having no sound while driving on wet inters is torture. Having to guess the throttle and gears. It doesn't look like we're going to get anybody in the interview box, guys. So a little bit of a shame, but that's okay. A little bit of a shame. Ah! We've got Eruption in the interview waiting room. Let's drag Eruption in. I'm not even in a media box. I'll just join. I'll just join the interview waiting room. There we go. I'll join the interview waiting room because I hadn't actually joined any commentary boxes. So, Mr. Eruption, good evening to you, sir.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty drenched. I'm pretty wet. Not in game. That was a workout. Like holy shit.
Yeah, it looked like it was a really tough race. Massive gamble starting on the intermediate tyres first, and I think that actually that was a great gamble and it paid off. However, myself and everybody in chat was wondering when you were going to come in for that next set of intermediate tyres. You left it too late, my friend. Why didn't you come in earlier?
Yeah, like if I would have gone earlier, the tire delta between the front guys and me wouldn't be, I think, big enough to like catch up again. Might have been 1 second, 1.5 seconds, and that would have been a little bit too less.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then I thought like, fuck it, I'm going as long as I can, and then I saw my rear tires were already at 70% before I pitted, so I didn't took any risk of a puncture and pitted just in case. And
Yeah,
I saw that who was it?
Estembar.
Who got 12 seconds. So that was my last target, and yeah, still P3. I'm happy.
Yeah, we were almost willing you to go in when the gap was at around about 9 seconds, 9 to 10 seconds between yourself and the chasing pack, because it felt like that would have given you an 11-second gap to close. You closed down a lot of time, by the way, to that front view, and it felt like that may have been the gap. Yes, your tyres would have been 3 laps older, but it felt like that was probably the kind of time frame to do it. Easy for me to sit here because I've got everybody's classifications and times and tire ages down, of course. And of course that means that all the guys in the stream did it as well. But yeah, fantastic race, a really good run, and yeah, fully deserved podium for you. What's your thoughts about the rest of this season? Do you feel like you're going to be in a position to challenge?
Well, yeah, currently there's a clear top 4, I think.
Yeah.
Like, same as in Sanford, like everyone saw it, there is a clear top 4 in Division 1 or Tier 1. And that's gonna be a 4-way fight to the end, to be honest. And the one who does a major mistake and doesn't score big will pay the price at the end.
Yeah, it does feel like a four-way race. The top 4 last week, the top 4 this week, in Zandvoort and Hungary, 2 relatively similar tracks. Different track next week, though. We head off to Great Britain. We head off to Silverstone. What's your Silverstone pace like?
Yeah, like I think pretty good, especially in race. But Silverstone is a different story with Division 1 because you can stay in DRS pretty good, and I think we're gonna see a different top 4 next week.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. And then, of course, Silverstone, Mexico, Imola, Austria finishes off the first half of the season. Then to finish it off, some real good, iconic, quick tracks. Qatar, Australia. We go to Shanghai, one of my favorite tracks. Brazil, Japan, and then we finish at Bahrain. Any race you're looking forward to in particular?
I'm gonna say Mexico, Qatar, Japan, and Bahrain. Technically, every single race except China. I haven't raced China in this game yet, so.
Oh, it's bliss. I won there. Yeah. I won there on Monday. There you go.
Nice.
I won there on Monday. Admittedly, my tier is about 45 seconds a lap slower. But I won there. I won there on Monday. So anyway, listen. Thank you so much, my friend. Silverstone next week. Good luck there. I'm hoping I'm in the commentary box for you yet again. Well done tonight on a very good strategy. Just didn't quite fall for you towards the end there. But we look forward to seeing you again next week, my friend. Take care and have a good one.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for casting.
Hey, my absolute pleasure, mate. My absolute pleasure. I get no more pleasure than streaming racers. Moose Racing League delivers every single time. So well done. Thank you so much for your participation, because it helps me make a better stream.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Okay, everybody. Let's just see. Esteban says he lost all sound from lap 15, so guessing gears and throttle was absolute torture. Died so many times, almost died so many times. Reason for why I dropped off so hard. Yeah, you did seem to drop off quite a lot there towards the back end, Esteban. Listen, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate you here. Now, normally, we'd either be heading to no assists or we'd be finished. No assists, unfortunately, is no more. However, what we are doing now, ladies and gentlemen, is we are, of course, streaming iRacing. So if you're an iRacing connoisseur, unlike myself, I'm not an iRacing connoisseur, please feel free to make sure that you tune in to our iRacing stream, which is coming up next. I think it's, I want to say F4 cars. I don't know. My knowledge is horrific and I need to get better at that. But please, go and find the iRacing stream and let's get right into it and make sure that you follow. Hit the subscribe button here. We're only at 1,200 subscribers. We need many more than that. These guys deserve it. They come out every single week and race. You deserve it as well, because you only deserve the best, and this is the best. So go and get yourself that subscription. Make sure you hit the like button on the stream tonight, even though it's the end of the stream. Let's move on. Go and see some iRacing, and I shall see you wonderful, wonderful people, hopefully in time for Tier 1 again next week. Sayonara. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much love from me.